And we are live. Okay, we're in, brother. How you feeling? Ready?
Good.
All right.
About time,
Well,
honestly.
yeah, for real. We've been talking about this for months, dude. For those of you, anyone who finds themselves stumbling upon this, the two greatest couch analysts of all time. This is
Big
the
facts, big
UnAthletic
facts.
Podcast, episode one, take one. Hell yeah. All right, let's just hop into it. Get started. So, first thing on the dock, regular season review. Go ahead. Start spitting.
I mean, I think anyone who has watched a game this season knows that compared to at least the last 5 seasons, you could even say decade, this has been the most nonsense NFL season we've probably ever had.
Nonsense. Just unorthodox, not regular. Like,
We don't have a 5,000-yard passer, which is crazy,
I think the only
but we've
thing
gotten
this
used to
year,
it.
yeah, the only thing that's made sense this year is skill players. And by skill players, I mean two players, CMC and
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
receivers have been good, which
Yeah,
is weird that receivers have had good seasons when passing yards are so
yeah,
low. Makes
exactly.
no sense.
Nothing. Coaching,
And
yeah,
then
dude.
even that, just teams
Yeah,
completely underperforming. I
because I
think the
think,
biggest example,
yeah,
the
because,
Chargers.
oh, dude, Chargers, even the Chiefs, dude. Because people look at that team as a dynasty.
Yeah, the Chiefs, like, I guess came into the season
Yeah,
as like
a
not
favorite.
the best team in the AFC,
Yeah,
but they were like the favorite.
they're defending champs too.
And
Like,
they've had a pretty lackluster season with some very questionable losses.
yeah,
The Jaguars,
yeah, start off hot and then
Trevor
just
Lawrence
abysmal.
had a third-year slump.
Oh, dude, yeah, we gotta start. Listen, I love the Prince, but we gotta start having a conversation, an uncomfortable one about him. But we'll get into that a different
I mean,
time,
like,
cause
we can obviously say like he had injuries, but he went from last season, right? He won a playoff game, brought that Jacksonville team to the playoffs. Coming to this year, the team should get better,
yeah,
right? With draft picks, they didn't lose anyone. They brought in Calvin Ridley, who obviously has had an up and down season.
yeah,
He's like the I honestly Calvin Ridley might be the fucking cover boy for this season,
yeah.
which is making no goddamn sense.
No,
But
cause like, dude,
when
even when you
20 and
look at
14 is
Trevor
terrible.
Lawrence, yeah, even when you look at Trevor Lawrence, it's like, yeah, he came into a really bad situation, and I think people gave him a pass. But at some point, bro, like this year was super underwhelming,
We say
honestly.
bad situation, but they won a playoff game last
Exactly.
year.
Like, I don't. Like I thought he was gonna be great. I honestly had high hopes for him this year, especially with Calvin Ridley, but like he's just been super underwhelming. And at some point, you can't just keep making up excuses for him.
And I think the other thing is this team at one point was the second seed in the
Yeah,
AFC.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
7-2,
Yep.
and then you go
Then
2-6.
yeah,
They lose the last game of the season.
got
Not
stumped
make
by my
playoffs.
Niners. Hell yeah, exposed them, exposed them. But yeah, I think just the best way to sum up this season is like just weird. Cause like if you look at it, I think the best team in the league has changed like every like 3 weeks.
Oh well,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is like the first year
Beginning of the
where,
season, Niners.
yeah,
Then you guys lost 2 games, and then everyone was like, "Oh, it's
it's the Eagles because they were 10-0
yeah, the Eagles."
at
The
some point.
Eagles
Yeah, they
were
were
like,
undefeated up
yeah, they're undefeated,
until that Jets loss.
and
Yeah,
then they lost, and then it was like, "Oh, the Niners are." They've won however many games you
yeah,
guys won straight because you guys are like what 8-2 or something
yeah,
at one point.
yeah,
And it's like okay, the Niners are the best team again, and then the Cowboys were doing really
yeah,
good. And then there's the whole Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy MVP
yeah,
conversation. Then the Cowboys got beat by someone, and
yeah.
then it was just the Niners,
And then
and then the
Niners get
Niners lost to the
embarrassed. Yeah,
Ravens,
get
and now it's the
embarrassed on
Ravens, and it's
Christmas.
like
Yeah, it's
the
bad.
Bill, and then you also have the Bills who have won 5 straight, and then there's been so many just random like
Yeah,
jumps by
and
teams.
even like superstars that
Sure.
were like household names, right? Like Patrick Mahomes. Listen, I'm pretty sure we both agree is
Both
like
of them.
I think Patrick Mahomes, we both agree, is still the best quarterback in the league, and it's not close. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty standing on business about that one. But even to his standards, he's not having the greatest year.
The whole Chiefs offense has
Yeah,
been
Travis
lackluster.
Kelsey.
You could argue they've been carried by their defense.
Yeah, oh, dude, that's like been the only consistent thing about them, like their defense. And Travis Kelsey,
Yeah.
Hall of Fame tight end, top two tight end. I was
It's had a
on,
down year for Travis Kelsey.
yeah, which I mean, crazy to think that 900 yards for Travis Kelsey is a down year, but
He's still first team All Pro,
yeah, okay, but
which I disagree with,
George
but
Kittle should have been first team All Pro. He was the only tight end
yeah.
with 1,000 yards. But I'm not. Yeah, we're not gonna argue about that today. Like, but yeah, just super weird. Like players, just household names in the league, just haven't
Yeah.
been. And then the MVP conversation, I think, has been the weirdest it's been in so long.
It's changed so many times.
Listen, I love Brock Purdy. I think he is the guy, but the fact that he was in the MVP
He's
discussion,
the front runner for multiple weeks.
yeah, and
Crazy.
like with Dak Prescott, I'm pretty sure there's a handful of quarterbacks that people would take over Dak Prescott, but those two are
Oh
leading.
well,
Yeah,
yeah. For most of the season, like the quarterbacks we consider like the top 5 QBs in the league, were not at or haven't been MVP camp.
yeah,
Right? You know,
really
your
though.
Josh Allen, your Patrick Mahomes, your Justin Herbert. Lamar wasn't an MVP like front runner for
Yeah,
most of the season.
and
Like there
even
were talks like early on, but
yeah,
like dark horse.
and no one's stats like in terms of QBs because we all understand MVP tends to be a QB award. That's just how
Yeah.
it's been for like the last 8 years.
The last non QB to win it was Adrian Peterson, and
Yeah,
that was in 2011. Like,
yeah, over a decade ago. So it's like the fact that we haven't had a quarterback this year drop like have an insane season.
no
Like one
QB
of one.
looks elite this year besides Lamar Jackson.
And even if you look at his individual stats, they're not like overwhelming. They're honestly kind
Yeah,
of just average for a
he
quarterback.
just wins games.
Yeah, exactly. They're just winning, right? And then
Yeah,
he embarrassed the Niners on Christmas in front of everybody.
yeah,
So, but yeah,
yeah.
but here we are, week 18, all
Yeah.
18 weeks done in the books.
Done and dusted.
Now we head into the playoffs
Put
where
this season behind us.
yeah, the second season starts now, right? So, with that said, let's go into our power rankings heading into the playoffs, wild card round. You can go
All
first.
right. Well, at 14th, I have the Steelers. Personally, I think without TJ Watt, you lose a top 2 defensive player of the year candidate and arguably most impactful defensive player in the league, who's kind of the driving force behind your defense. And we even
Yeah.
saw like in the season without TJ Watt, Steelers defense didn't look as good.
Might be the driving force behind the whole team, to be honest.
Yeah. And then their offense, they have gotten better the last few weeks, inspiring their OC.
Mason Rudolph.
But their QB is Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, dude. Listen,
I'm sorry.
their quarterback
No.
room is horrific, but keep going, yeah.
Worse than the league, arguably.
Their quarterback
But
room is
they went 10
dog
and 7, made
shit.
the playoffs, which is crazy.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah, Mike Tomlin effect.
Yeah. Shout out Mike Tomlin. Still hasn't
Yeah.
had a losing season.
Yeah.
Insane. But yeah, I have them last in my power rankings.
Yeah.
Solely because TJ Watt is not playing. And I have no faith in their offense. So next I have the Packers. So the thing with the Packers, they've had some really big wins. They've beaten the Lions and the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
2 high up playoff teams. But then they've also lost to the Giants, not a very good team, and the Raiders before they fired Josh McDaniels, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So those are 2 really bad losses that you kind of question which Packers team
Yeah.
you're going to get
It's just a
going
young
into
team
the playoffs.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? Just a young team
Yeah.
led behind a young quarterback, right? So
Second-year quarterback,
inconsistency is going to
rookie
happen.
receiver, second-year receivers. The only rock on that team, on offense at least, is Aaron Jones. The only like true vet, but he's been in and out with injuries, so it's like, what Packers team are you gonna get? We've seen Jordan Love have great games, and we've seen him have horrible games.
Yeah.
So, and then their defense is just kind of average. Like they're just decent, like kind of across the board on defense.
Yeah.
So, 12th, I have the Eagles.
Damn.
You know
I mean-
my disdain with this team.
Yeah.
It's a slight bias. I hate
mean,
the Eagles.
we're not far off from each other, so
But
yeah.
this team, you have to go with what you've seen recently, right? These are not regular season power rankings because they went 11-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11-6. That's a decent record. But you have to look at the fact that they had a horrible back like 6-7 games of the season. Because at one point this team was undefeated with 8 wins. They were 8-0. You go 3-6 in your last 9. And then there's all these talks of the locker room problems and communication problems.
Oh, it's been an absolute shit show.
Like
It's
the team
been
is falling
bad. Yeah.
apart.
It's been awful.
And then you add on AJ Brown has injured his knee. Jalen Hurts' finger did not look. He was making shapes with it. Like, we don't know what Eagles were getting. Obviously, this team could jump up, right? They beat the
Yeah.
Bucks. There's a chance this team could go to the championship game, right? I just don't see it though, because they've looked horrible.
Yeah.
They lost to the Giants. They've lost to a lot of people. Like, ever since that Chiefs win, the team is just flatlined.
Yeah.
Next, I have the team they're playing in the wild card. I have the Bucks.
Yeah.
The Bucks are weird because sometimes the Bucks look like a good team, and then if you look at Week 18, they only scored 9 points against the Panthers. You can't come into the playoffs and only score 9 points, right? You're not going to win a game scoring 9 points in the playoffs. That's just not how it works. So that team is the Bucks are arguably the most inconsistent team in the playoffs, depending on what brand you're going to get, what
Yeah.
Baker you're going to get, what.
They're gonna get Baker Zinfield, bro.
Yeah,
Bucks by 30. That guy's a stud
yeah.
right
I
now.
think the Bucks. They're a big question mark.
Yeah. Definitely. No, definitely.
Probably one of the biggest ones
Yeah, I definitely
in the
agree.
playoffs. Next, I have the Texans. I just think C.J. Stroud is so good.
He is him. That is Himothy. Okay.
You could argue that he is what a top. You could argue he's maybe a top 5 QB in these playoffs if you really
Like,
wanted to.
no, definitely. Like, and I don't think anyone would be mad about that.
Yeah, and I think their defense has been playing great. I mean, D'Amico Ryans is proved.
He has done a great job with that team, especially with
He's
where they were
turned that
at.
team around. They went from the second pick to the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. And props for them.
Insane.
Props for them because
And you also
CJ
have to look at
Stroud
it.
was not looked high upon heading into the draft because of that
Yeah.
stupid test taking shit. I don't know. It
So
was
stupid.
ridiculous.
But if you look at what CJ Stroud has also done, just so you look at the Texans last year, right? The standout was Dameon Pierce.
Yeah.
1,000-yard rusher, great rookie season.
Irrelevant
Dameon
this
Pierce
year.
This year,
Irrelevant.
400 yards, 150
Yeah.
something receiving yards,
It's
and
not
like 2
good.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Granted, he
Not
got
like
hurt,
Devin
but even
Singletary.
before, it wasn't impressive.
He has 2.6 yards per carry.
Yeah,
That's
it's
terrible.
bad. Yeah, it's horrible.
Devin Singletary became their RB1.
Yeah.
Like, I think Devin Singletary is very serviceable.
Yeah. Definitely. I think
But
he's,
that's a
yeah,
very
I think
big
he's great.
drop-off.
Yeah, I think he's great.
And then you look at the receiving room. Noah Brown, injured. Tank Dell, injured. Nico Collins also missed time.
Yeah.
And he turned Nico Collins into a 1,300-yard receiver who has
Tank
never
Dell
had
too.
over 800
Tank Dell
yards.
was balling before he got hurt.
Yeah, Tank Dell was also great,
Yeah.
but Tank Dell's a rookie.
Like they're both
So-
good, but like no one looked at those two. Like heading into the season, everyone considered this Texas
Nico Collins
team
had ever had above 800 yards,
Yeah.
and now he's a 1,300-yard receiver.
as soon as CJ Stroud comes in. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with
Tank
you.
Dell looked great before he tore his ACL.
Nothing but flowers and love.
Noah
from that
Brown
boy
even
CJ
looked good
Stroud.
before he got hurt. Like, this team looked like they had a potential, like, high firepower offense, which they still even kind of do with C.J. Stroud and his limited weapons
Yeah, exactly.
on offense. So it's like, and then even on defense, D'Amico Ryans has made a pretty solid defense with what he has. And you have someone
such
like
short
Will
time.
Anderson,
In such short
who's a
time
rookie.
too.
Yeah, like Will Anderson, who's a rookie, potentially defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, probably.
And then you have second-year corner Derek Stingley, who looks very good. Has had a great season. And the defense as a whole has just looked solid.
Yeah, solid is
Consider.
like the best way to because they're not like insane, right? They're not like
Yeah, the Texans are just like a solid team.
yeah.
They're not
That have
extravagant
found
anywhere.
the
They're
guy.
just solid and pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And C.J. Stroud leads that all.
Yeah, obviously.
And has had one of the better rookie quarterback seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah,
So next, I have the Rams. This isn't even like a
Oh.
slight to the Rams. I think the Rams are really good, but I think there's other teams in the playoffs that you have to factor in their regular season success, obviously,
yeah, definitely.
especially when they've had like consistent regular season success. But the Rams, the last 6-7 weeks since Cooper Kupp has came back and settled back in the offense, have looked really good.
Matt Stafford's playing at an insane level too.
And
heading
Matt
into the
Stafford
playoffs.
is back to
Matt Stafford,
a very high level.
the one that they won
know?
the bowl with.
They've won 4 of their last 5 going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, they're very hot. Like, I think the only team hotter than them, or the only teams hotter than them, are the Browns and Ravens.
Yeah.
So, I think they're the dark horse team of the NFC.
I agree.
Like, if there's going to be one of these teams that isn't like the top 3 teams that makes it potentially to the Super Bowl, it's probably the Rams. Because if you look at it, Matt Stafford's playing at an elite level. Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp, even though he's had a pretty down season coming off the injury. Puka, best rookie wide receiver season ever.
Yeah, broke the record. Yep.
Wise, broke both records.
That kid's
which is
good.
crazy.
Though. He's good. He's big, strong.
And then their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, I would say.
Still led by Aaron Donald, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of late round picks just play their role, and they play it well. And you have to attribute it to good coaching. Their coaching staff has been amazing this year. And obviously, it's under Sean McVay.
Yeah,
we all
Sean
know
McVay.
Sean McVay is
Yeah.
a great coach. So, and then that's all I really have to say about the Rams. They're just good. They look good everywhere. Tyrell Williams. I almost forgot Tyrell Williams, who had a great season. Their workhorse. Shout out Sean McVay having him in fantasy. Like, he's amazing. Really good rookie season for a running back, missing games too, and still has great stats. Next, we got the Dolphins. A team that we didn't know if it was fraudulent or not for most of the season because they couldn't beat a winning team.
We'll get on that later.
We still kind of don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of the issue, right? But I mean, Tua's had a great season. I think he leads the league in passing.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, one of the 2 offensive player of the year candidates, leads the league in receiving. Would have probably broken the record if he didn't get injured.
Yeah, definitely. Because like he got injured, that kind of threw him off, and then at that point, it was like, all right.
Yeah, I mean Raheem Mostert
led the dude. He had 20 touchdowns. The only person I think that had more was CMC. So
yeah, Achin, or I don't know how to say his name.
Close enough. I think it's like
also pretty good
or something like that.
Yeah, A-Chain also had a pretty good season, missed time. They still have Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
They have Robbie Chosen and Chase Claypool.
I think
kind of whatever, but they are there.
They've had injuries.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries.
Like especially on the defensive side of the ball.
That is where I
Jalen
really
Ramsey
question
came back,
this
though.
team.
Jalen Ramsey came back, and that defense
they're missing
formidable.
Both their pass rushers.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb and Phillips.
Yeah.
Season-ending injuries, torn ACL and a torn Achilles. Terrible losses because those are probably their 2 best players on defense. And they play up front, which is especially Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb is probably their best player on defense. So I really question that, especially going into Arrowhead, which, the Chiefs' offense has been pretty meh this season.
Yeah, definitely.
And it definitely just hurts them on paper, right? Missing 2 of your pass rushers. Most important position on the defense is your pass rushers. Yeah. Next, I have the Lions.
Okay.
Because kind of similar to the Rams, they're just pretty good everywhere.
Yeah.
Jared Goff has been solid. Nothing crazy. He's definitely not as good as Matt Stafford, but he's just been solid. He's not going to, go out there and win you the game, but he shouldn't lose it. They're probably the best running back duo in the league.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
I love
They almost
their
had 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah, I love their running back room.
Yeah, their receivers are pretty good. Amon-Ra obviously leads them.
Oh, dude. PPR king, by the way.
Yeah.
PPR
Amon-Ra is obviously
king.
their leader there.
Sam Laporta's nasty, too.
Yeah, Sam Laporta is one of the best rookie tight end seasons we've seen recent time. And then Jamison Williams is a NASCAR.
Yeah.
So you don't know if he's going to bang off an 80-yard touchdown because of how fast he is. Dude runs like a fucking 4.4 or something. As long as he's healthy, he's there. You know?
Yeah.
And then I kind of question their defense. Let me phrase. I question their defense a lot. We've seen their offense be high-powered. Alongside that, we've seen their defense be paper.
Yeah.
We saw what CeeDee Lamb did to one of their better corners. Lit him up for like 250.
Yeah.
With ease. All right, and their pass rush, Aiden Hutchinson has been kind of up and down this year.
I think he's still
Oh,
nasty though.
he's
Yeah,
still
he's
really
still
good.
good. Yeah,
Elite pass rusher for
like he
the
has an
next like
impact. Like don't get me
five,
wrong.
10 years.
Like I feel like
But
sometimes
the
he has a
thing is,
problem getting home, but I think he still like makes the impact he needs
he's
to
gonna draw
as an edge
double
rusher.
teams, but there is sometimes where if you watch a Lions game, you don't really see Aiden Hutchinson sometimes. And I think we saw that for like a small stint in the middle of the season where it's like, where is he? And then obviously he comes back and you'll have like a 4-sack game or something.
Yeah,
So it's like, but yeah, I kind of question their defense, specifically their secondary. Secondaries look very shaky at times this year, and they're playing the Rams, so
yeah.
you have to
That's
guard
dude.
Puka Nacua,
Talk about
and
a tough like situation
yeah,
being as a Detroit fan.
we can get to that a little
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
Next, I have the Bills, one of the hotter teams going into the playoffs. Um, we know what Josh Allen can do if he's not throwing stupid interceptions.
Yeah.
I hope him and Stephon Diggs can get back on the same page because
Yeah,
they're
he's
gonna need
been
it.
dude. He has missed him so much the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, like every week he misses like a big bomb to Stephon Diggs. It's
Yeah,
kind of weird.
because it's like
But
usually that's like money.
yeah.
That shit's money every time.
Other than that, I mean, their offense has looked pretty good. James Cook has been very good this year. Gabe Davis is Gabe Davis, just the number 2 receiver who is usually going to have a lot of one-on-ones. Their defense has been okay. Like stat-wise, their defense is good, but sometimes their defense is just weird.
Hit or miss. Yeah.
They've had a couple injuries, but I
That
think they have
Von
Jordan
Miller.
Poyer.
Yeah, that Von Miller
Yeah, the
contract's
Von
looking
Miller thing is
ugly as
weird.
fuck right now.
He only has like 2 tackles. He doesn't
Yeah.
like play. I don't know what's
5-year
going on
extension,
there.
by the way. That was crazy.
But you still can't really
No, yeah, definitely don't blame
take
him.
anything away from like their secondary,
Yeah.
led by obviously like Jordan Poyer. So I don't know. They're definitely a team you have to look out for.
Yeah.
You can't not look out for this Bills team. So, and they were very hot going into
Yeah.
the end of the season. Next, I have the Cowboys, who I think are on paper should be the second best team in the NFC. But we all know the Cowboys win one game, early exit.
Yeah.
They look good everywhere most of the time. And then you'll get random one-off games where they look good nowhere.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to completely judge them. That's why I'm going to put them high based on their highs.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen Dak Prescott had arguably his best season of his career.
Yeah.
CD had an amazing,
Dude, ever
Dak,
since
like
after that
8-9 games.
After that San Fran game, homie flipped the switch. Ever since Richard Sherman said something about him not being a borderline wide receiver 1,
you
he
can make
started
an
cooking.
I honestly would not even be against
Jeez.
people making an argument that he's had a better season than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Well,
Because he has just been consistently so good.
yeah.
Like
I agree.
Tyreek Hill has had games where he's like only had like 5 catches for 50 yards, 6 catches for 70. CD, since like week 9 or whatever week that Richard Sherman opened his mouth. And I don't even mean any disrespect to Richard Sherman, but he started this. Dude has like 9 for 90, 8 for 150, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah,
He's
been cooking.
he is the Cowboys' offense.
He's been in the lab cooking.
But I will say that is a problem because I feel like CeeDee Lamb is too much of their offense.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard has regressed and has not had that good of a season. He's a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, running backs and I hate Dallas running backs now. To the end of time, I will.
He has
hate
less yards
running
this year as a starter than he did last year as a backup.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. They got to figure something out.
I question their run game because it's looked pretty bad recently. And their second receiver is Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks is good, but a wide receiver 2, kind of question. And I think Jake Ferguson's a great tight end.
Fergie, hell yeah, we love Fergie in these
Tight ends
parts.
only have so much impact past
Yeah,
Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle.
yeah.
And then their defense, very inconsistent.
Just
They're a big play defense.
yeah, playmaking defense. Live and die
Like
by
they're
the
either going to
big
get
play.
a pick 6 and like 4 sacks, or they're going to give up 30 plus.
Exactly.
And you're like,
I agree with that. Definitely.
So, yeah, I kind of question their corners. I think Deron Bland has had a good season, obviously. He broke the pick six record, blah, blah,
He
blah, blah,
hasn't done
blah.
anything since though.
But he's very questionable in
Yeah.
coverage sometimes. And then Stephon Gilmore is good, but he's old.
Yeah.
He's not Stephon Gilmore on the Patriots,
Yeah. DPOY
unfortunately.
Gilmore.
But yeah, but I still think, I mean, Micah Parsons is great. Dexter Lawrence is serviceable. They have a decent front seven. I expect them to have at least one playoff win. Next, I have the Chiefs. Down year for the Chiefs offensively. Their defenses look stout, though.
Yeah.
Potential top 5 defense. Chris Jones is one of the best interior linemen in the league. Not Tyrann Mathieu. Jaden Reed, yeah, has looked good. I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I messed up his first name, but the safety has looked good. Their corners have looked solid.
L'Jarius Sneed, bro.
Yeah, like their defense just looks really good, and Chris Jones leads it, obviously.
Yeah.
And their defense has bailed them out of some games. But obviously, the question mark is offense. The receiving play has been terrible.
Below average is fuck.
You can obviously
It's
say
been
Rashee
bad.
Rice has been decent towards the back end of the season.
He's been decent. He's been like the only outside of Travis Kelce,
He's
obviously.
the only shining spot on
Yeah.
the actual receivers.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney hands the ball to the other team sometimes.
Yeah.
Marcus Valdes-Scantling is pretty just average.
Yeah.
Right.
He definitely got juiced
So-
by Aaron Rodgers heading into that team. So
So you definitely still question the receiving play, but
my homeboy.
they have Patrick Mahomes,
My homeboy. Yes, sir.
and we have seen Patrick Mahomes. We saw it for all of last year, like with essentially the same roster, minus Juju Smith-Schuster and Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator. So if this team finds a rhythm, probably the scariest team in the playoffs still, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they have Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. I don't care if he's had a down season. He's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, down
Right.
season by his standard. I don't think
And by
anyone's
his
yeah, I don't think
standards, he still
anyone
had
looks at
4,000
him. Yeah.
yards. He just had a lot of turnovers. That's
Yeah.
like the
He
big
just didn't
thing.
throw for 5K and 50 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
the standard everyone holds him to.
But I still think they're a very scary team in the
Yeah.
AFC. So next, I have the Browns. I kind of question putting them this high.
The Browns this high. That's crazy. Go
They
ahead.
have
You go ahead.
looked elite the last 5-6 games of the season. Right? Their defense is elite. And they have a DPOY candidate leading that defense.
Yeah.
And they have Zadarius Smith on that defense, Denzel Ward on that defense. They have so many great players on that defense. But the thing with the Browns, and why I would either put them at 3 or like 9. Does the Cinderella offense run with Joe Flacco end? Where does it end, right?
I don't know,
Does
bro.
it end with them hoisting the trophy?
Hell no.
Or does it end in the wild card?
I don't know, bro. It's so
Because
weird.
there's a reason
Yeah.
Joe Flacco was sitting at home on the couch, right? He was not very good on any team he played on the last few years. Broncos, whatever other team he played on, right? He just wasn't very good. And you can argue, oh, the rosters weren't very good. Blah. This Browns offense is not crazy. They have Amari Cooper, a backup running back in Jerome Ford, a decent O-line, and David Njoku.
Yeah.
Because Elijah Moore is now injured.
This
right?
offense on paper is not very stout.
It's
to say
not
the
a
least.
crazy offense. Joe Flacco is just having a Cinderella run these
Yeah.
last like 5-6 weeks, right?
He is.
Or
he is.
whenever he came in.
Mhm.
And they're winning games. And their defense obviously has been great all year. Myles
Wow.
Garrett is
Browns
Myles
this
Garrett.
high. That's crazy. I like that.
But
out
the
of you.
thing is,
I
right?
like that out of you.
If this Cinderella run keeps up,
They're scary.
you know?
Yeah, you're right.
let's say they can win. They play the
No,
Texans.
this is definitely I'm
Like
with
it's a
you.
winnable wild card game, and then they go to Baltimore. Yeah, you never
Flacco
know.
revenge tour, bro. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. You never like
Yeah,
this
no,
team.
shit could happen, especially this year in football.
I
Shit could
don't
happen.
know.
especially
Cinderella
this year.
run all the way through.
Yeah,
You
you're
know.
right. I agree with you. I agree with you.
All right. Second best team in the NFC, 49ers. I mean, what is there really to say?
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
honestly, I think both of us, I think we both have the top two teams.
One,
Like,
two is easy, right?
yeah,
It's
1-2 is the
Ravens.
easiest. Yeah.
Like, what is there that hasn't been said about the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
Two great receivers, George Kittle, CMC. Brock Purdy was once an MVP candidate. Trent Williams is best left tackle in the league. It's only close to one other person, but it's
Yeah.
not even that close.
Yeah.
And then
And then
defense,
defense
best defense in the
yeah,
league.
what it's been for the last 4 years. So,
Only one defense, top two
yeah.
defense in the league.
Yeah.
Because the best defense in
Shit,
the league,
I'd even
or
give you
the
top
other
3.
best defense,
Yeah.
is the Ravens.
Yeah. Top 3, 100%.
I would
You
say they're
could,
top two.
yeah.
I don't think, because like the Browns defense, I don't think comes close to the Niners. I don't think the Cowboys defense does either. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like everything's already been said about the Niners.
Yeah.
We know who the Niners are. Kyle Shanahan offense.
Yeah.
CMC leads the way. OPOY candidate. Brock was an
sir.
MVP candidate.
Having a great year.
Yeah. They have an X factor in Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk has had a great season as a number one receiver. George Kittle's the only 1,000-yard tight end.
Yeah.
You have Nick Bosa. You have Chase Young. Fred Warner, one of the best middle linebackers.
All pro Mooney, bro, snubbed. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Like, there's so
All pro Mooney. Travis Ward got snubbed.
I think the thing with this defense is just how, like, on paper, you can recognize like almost every name.
Yeah.
Especially in the front seven, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, and then I mean, there's the Ravens.
Yeah,
right?
the Ravens won. Yeah.
Like insane back end of the season.
That Christmas game decided, basically.
Yeah, the MVP.
Yeah, decided MVP, decided the best
Lamar's
team in the
the
league.
MVP.
Yeah.
Their offenses looked really good. They have a good run game, best rushing offense in the league. Zay Flowers looks really good. They unfortunately don't have Mark Andrews, but they did move him off IR.
Yeah, so he could. Yeah.
I wonder
as long as they
if he'll
make
come
it
back for the
deep. Yeah.
playoffs.
If they make it deep,
Yeah.
him returning.
If they make it to the Super Bowl, we can
possibility.
see a Mark Andrews
Yeah.
appearance. But and then their defense.
Nasty, and I saw that firsthand.
Two of the top 3 middle linebackers in the league are arguably on one team.
Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith.
That is a duo.
There's only one person who gives Fred Warner a run for his money, and it's Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
He is very deserving of that number 0 because he is gross.
Yeah, he is nasty.
And then go to their secondary. They got all reliable Marlon Humphrey, who, when healthy, easily a top 10 corner in the league and has been forever.
Clamps.
Seems like. And then they just got that one guy, from Kyle Hamilton, who just out of nowhere is the best safety in the league.
Yeah, all pro this year, I think. Did he get named all pro this year?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
And then you can go onto their D line. They've had I don't want to say his name. It's like Matabuke or something.
Yeah.
He has like 10 sacks, and he really fucking good season. The rest of their D line is also really good. They're great against the run. They're great against the pass. Really good team. Best team in the league. And number 1 in my power rankings.
Yeah.
So yeah. Take the stage, baby.
Yeah.
Because I have talked long enough.
Yeah. Listen, Browns that high is kind of crazy. Like, but I tip you being spicy. All right. So at 14, Steelers. I don't gotta waste much time with them. You kind of went over everything. I just think that they're the worst team in the playoffs.
Worst offense, no
Yeah.
TJ Watt.
Worst team in the playoffs, missing their best player. Quarterback shit show. Like I don't think I don't like Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph. We've seen him already. We don't need to see any more of him. So I feel like just Mike Tomlin effect, winning season. They skimp into the playoffs. I think they're just happy to be there. 13, I got the Packers. They've been cooking lately. Granted, it hasn't been against the greatest teams, but Jordan Love has been playing well. The team in general has been playing well. Matt LaFleur is a good coach. Like, but I just think,
Great coach, arguably.
yeah, the Achilles heel of this team is just them being young. Very
Yeah,
inconsistent team.
no
When
experience.
yeah, super young team is going to lead to it being inconsistent.
2 more years getting players through the draft, maybe getting a couple free agents drawn in by the fact that Jordan Love is
Yeah,
potentially
definitely.
a top tier quarterback. They'll be good.
And so at 12, I have the I have the Browns. Now listen, I have them at 12 because, dude,
Polar opposite side.
yeah, I
Completely
listen.
understandable though.
I love everything about their defense. They beat the Niners, right, in that rain game in week
Yeah,
6, I believe,
yeah.
right? They beat us rain game,
5 or 6.
and their defense was the first defense to really put a crinkle into Brock Purdy's year, right? He did not play good that game. So I love and Myles Garrett, a fucking unit on the field.
Yeah,
Listen, I love everything about him. Like you said, he's a DPOY candidate. It's just for me, dude, that offense, like I don't like Joe Flacco's playing great. I love it. I love
yeah,
the story of it, the narrative of it. Came off the couch, eating chips, and now he's balling, right? And the better part of Joe Flacco's career has always been in the postseason.
yep,
Throwback to that 2012 year, right? And so, with all that being said, he's 38. He's 38 years old. He's on the back end. Like you said, there's a reason why he was on his couch.
yeah.
There was nothing good coming from him before this, right? And so, yeah, it's a matter of fact of when that Cinderella story will end. And I can't put a team that's relying on a Cinderella story to keep going so high in the standings.
Mhm.
And then next, I have the Texans. Now, we went over CJ Stroud. We love him, right?
Yeah.
And so
At about
he,
the same place.
he's the truth, right? I don't need to gas him more than we already have, right? I just, it's kind of similar to the Packers,
Yeah,
but
similar to the Packers. Really
yeah,
young team.
it's like defense good, can be bad, but can be good. Like just they're solid.
Mhm.
Offense, live and die by CJ Stroud, and depending on how defenses can scheme against him, with the lack of offensive talent he has, it's it's just I don't see them making a deep run unless CJ
Yeah,
Stroud goes even more nuclear than he already has. Like we're talking transcendent,
that'd be hard to do.
yeah, transcendent play, right? So yeah, I have them at 11, and so at 10 I have the Bucks. Or no, I have the Eagles. Sorry, I have the Eagles. And dear God, I don't think we've seen a
Yeah,
bigger
we're
breakdown
on the same page.
from a winning team ever, bro. This is bad. And then with the way their season ended, the Giants. Shout out your Giants, bro. Dude,
Smoked them.
get absolute manhandled by,
Wasn't even close.
by a bad team. They're going to be a top 10 pick, right? And they get manhandled.
Yeah.
And just to finish this season, 1-6, 1-5.
2 and something. 2 and 6.
But yeah, like from having the best, they went from literally having the best record in the league to now the fifth seed in the NFC. So I got to put them in there.
Yeah. 1-4 in their last 5.
Like AJ Brown, it was rumored AJ Brown had a players meeting to tell players to buy into the coaching. If you're telling me by week 18 your roster hasn't bought into your own coach
Yeah, that's a
and their
problem.
scheme, that is a huge problem. That is vile, actually. And after every loss, you saw them say, "We're still figuring it out, brother." By week 18, if you haven't figured it out, brother, you're not going to figure it out at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Jalen Hurts, whatever the hell happened to his finger, bro, like that is not good. AJ Brown, knee, didn't practice again today. Not a good sign.
Yeah.
This team is just falling, and it's getting scary. And the next team I have above them, like I think they should beat. I just don't think they're going to, right? So I'll lead right into that. At 9, I have the Bucks, right? And
Mhm.
listen, me and you both know that I'm not the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield. I don't think you are
I'm
either,
not a fan either.
right?
No.
But I saw
I
someone
did not
say
expect the Bucks
Baker
to
Mayfield
be good.
on this team has grown up. He has realized he's not the driving force of this team, right? He's matured. He's okay with
Yeah.
taking the check down. He's okay with handing the ball off. He's okay with not being the guy. And then on top of that, 1K Mike every year. He broke the record. He broke
Mike
Jerry's record.
Evans
Yeah,
has had a very good season.
1,000 yards again, right?
I
And
think he's
then
had one of his higher yard
yeah,
seasons as well, like
that
for his career.
offense, and then what's it called? Chris Godwin, right?
I think he had 1,000 yards
Yeah.
as
Well,
well.
if you didn't, you still got to look out for him. You still scheme against
Yeah,
him. He's still on the game
I think
plan.
the big Rashad White, the
Yeah,
running
Rashad
back,
White. Yeah, their running
he's a
back.
horse.
Yeah, workhorse.
He's
Finally,
really
Bucks
good,
finally got the
honestly.
workhorse that they wanted, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then the defense solid, right? And here's the thing.
I
I
think the
think
biggest question with the Bucks is their coaching.
yeah, I don't.
Their coaching has been pretty.
But they're doing something right if they got Baker Mayfield to play the way he's playing. So, like the
They're
Browns
winning
drove him
games. They
out.
made the playoffs, but
Yeah,
look at the division they won.
yeah, oh yeah. NFC South ain't that bright, but like, I think the Eagles should win against the Bucks, but I think the Bucks,
On paper, yeah.
yeah,
Like
but I think the Bucks are just gonna win because I think
the
the Eagles
playoffs
have
is
gotten
about
way
who's
too much.
hot,
Yeah, who's
right?
hot, right? And the
The
Eagles have
Eagles are 1
been
and 4 in their last 5. The
they have
Bucks
been
are 4 and
iced
1 in their
to
last
the
5.
max. So I got
Right?
the Bucks at 9. At 8, I
Yeah.
got the Dolphins, and we'll get into it later. But
Where I had them as well.
I don't believe in the Dolphins. I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Listen,
I mean we touched on it. They're missing too much.
yeah, injuries, and then even Tua. He's had a great year, but like we saw in the ending of that Bills game, that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
He threw the ball to Chase Claypool out of all people into a double coverage that was not even close. And so I still got question marks about Tua, right?
He's young.
Yeah.
Another
And
one of those, like,
then
a lot of young QBs in this
yeah. Oh, dude.
season.
Great. Yeah. And then at 7, I got the Lions, right? I love the Lions.
Understandable.
I love their team. Dude, even last year, they are ballers. They are grinders. They are
Yeah.
hustlers. They
They
play.
won, like, what, 6 straight last year or
Shout
something?
out to Dan Campbell. They
It's crazy.
play for him. Like he gets that team to actually,
Definitely one of the best
yeah,
coaches
just
in the league.
grind, right? They all love him. They all play for him. He has
Yeah.
control of the locker room, right? Jared Goff, resurgence. Like he hasn't been insane this year, obviously. He started off really hot though, but then
He
he came,
was very hot, and then
but
he had,
then
like, a bad game.
yeah, then he came back down to earth. Started, doing Jared Goff things. Giving the ball back every now and then to the other team, right? But I love their running back core, like we've gone over. Their running back duo and Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, solid,
Very good.
great. Yeah, they know how to use both of those running backs.
Yep.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, don't need to talk to him. PPR King, shout out, great wide receiver. I don't see them. I think with that team, it depends on what Jared Goff they get, right? And I think more often than not, they're going to get the one that everyone remembers, which is going to make
Yeah.
a couple mistakes in the games that are going to just cost them the game, right? He's going to give the
Yeah.
ball back. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to make enough plays in the playoff,
They
especially in the
kind of
playoffs.
feel like a team that's missing they're missing one thing.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know. Defense, offense. They're missing something.
Yeah. And then at 6, I got arguably maybe the hottest team in the league, the Bills, right, heading into the playoffs. And
Definitely up there.
it's weird, right? Because if we were to tell you, okay, they were 6-6, and then they end up being the second seed in the AFC, you would think that'd be powered behind Josh Allen playing like an MVP. But that's not been the case. That game against the Cowboys, he did not play good by any measure. So what I'm trying to say is, in that last game, honestly, in that last game of the season against the Dolphins, he almost lost them the game. He made
Yeah.
that
That interception was terrible.
that
It was
pick in the end zone
hilariously
before
terrible.
half was mind-boggling.
Like,
Like you are like,
what are you
what
doing?
the fuck? Like, dude, what are you seeing there?
That's just kind of the thing with Josh Allen.
Yeah. And
Like,
so like I heard analysts say it best.
might
He's
throw
like
you into a hole.
he's gonna make holy shit plays and holy shit plays. Like it goes both ways. So it's like and so like I think the Bills team, it's been good to see that they can win despite of Josh Allen making those, boneheaded mistakes that, he has pretty consistently made throughout his career.
Yeah.
And so I have them at 6. I gotta believe it to see it with them, essentially, in the postseason. I gotta see them
Yeah.
I got to see them win. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
And then at 5, second hottest team, Rams. Um, I am honestly outside of maybe the Cowboys. I'm scared of the Rams. I'm scared to play them.
I agree.
Divisional rival, especially against the Niners. Divisional rival. Matt
Yeah.
Stafford's balling out. And last time we met him in the playoffs, unfortunate things happened, right? And then that offense, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, all
Mhm.
led by the scheme of Sean McVay,
Top 2
lethal.
offensive mind in the league,
Yeah, and
arguably.
then that defense, that LA Rams defense with Aaron Donald, it's always going to be, it may not be great, but it's always going to be solid, right? It's always going to, if you
Yeah.
give them the chance, they will make a play and they will like impose themselves on
But this
offenses.
isn't like the Rams defense from when they won the Super Bowl.
No, no, definitely not. It's definitely worse.
Like the Rams defense from the Super Bowl year
Could take over.
was like star led. You had
Yeah,
Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, blah 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 blah. You can rattle off more names.
yeah,
This defense though is Aaron Donald and a bunch of late round picks
yeah.
that are just playing together and playing good.
Yeah. And so I think this team's solely dependent on,
Oh,
the offensive side of the ball, obviously. And then
oh yeah.
and then Matt Stafford, dude, balling. With what he's had to deal with this year, the dude's playing phenomenal. He was
Missing
missing,
Cooper Kupp. He
yeah,
had injuries.
first 4
Very
weeks
good.
missing Cooper Cup, and then he like don't get me wrong, Puka Nacua is great in his own right, but he was a rookie.
You need more than one receiver.
Yeah, and then Tutu Atwell. We have heard nothing about Tutu Atwell since Cooper
He
Cup came back.
disappeared. He had a good first
Yeah.
3 weeks and just
So like
disappeared
things
when he
like
came back.
this, like Matt Stafford, like I think majority of the success of this offense has been attributed to like Sean McVay play calling, obviously, but Matt Stafford, he makes people around him better. So yeah, I'm scared of the Rams outside of maybe the Cowboys, and that's a maybe.
Yeah.
This Rams team's not to be taken lightly.
Ooh, we skipped over someone on the Rams offense. Demarcus Robinson, their slot receiver, has had a crazy back end of the season. I think he's had like 5 straight 100-yard games or something crazy.
And again,
I'll
I
double
think
check that, but
yeah, Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, like they make anyone and everyone look at least decent on that offense. Like don't get me wrong, all these players are good in their own right, but like it helps when you have one of the best head coaches in the NFL with a Super Bowl and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL with a Super Bowl, right?
yeah.
And then at 4, I got the Cowboys. So, I mean, I think heading into this year, me and
Okay, I
you,
lied.
me and you, it's all good. Me and you had the
He said
same.
touchdowns.
Yes, he's had touchdowns. All right, I mean,
Yeah, he's had a
that's 6
touchdown
on the board.
in four. He had a touchdown for 4 straight weeks, and then he had 92 yards against the
Yeah.
Giants in his last game of the season. He didn't play in Week 18 against the Niners.
So before I got the Cowboys, listen, this pains me, but like it's another team where it's like I gotta see it to believe it, right?
Yeah.
Like this, Dak Prescott, his record, he doesn't have a great record in the playoffs. It's not good, and at the end of the day, their
They win
roadblock,
one game and they're out.
yeah, and at the end of the day, their roadblock is San Fran, who has a week 1 bye, and on paper should at some point meet up with the Cowboys in the playoffs. And how will that go? Well, the last 2 years it hasn't gone great. So
I mean, you could argue their roadblock is whoever wins Lions Rams.
exactly. So this Cowboys team, listen, I'm going solely off heading into the postseason. This team is great, right? This team is great. Dak Prescott MVP year, having a great MVP year.
Outside of that one game,
Their run game is fraudulent as shit, but I don't even want to talk about it. I hate Dallas running backs. I'm never drafting them in any fantasy league ever again. Just horrible. But
yeah.
Dak Prescott's playing like an MVP. Has been all year, outside of like 1 or 2 games. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1. Only person to even be near Tyreek Hill at all this season, right?
It's him and CD in a very large gap.
Yeah. So like CeeDee Lamb is him, and even Brandon Cooks. At the beginning of the year, I hated the way the Cowboys were using Brandon Cooks because it felt like it was run straight or bust, right? I feel like they just took
They
a bit.
definitely got better at using him at
Yeah.
the end of the year.
And so I felt like they were trying to rely on his speed too much, just saying, okay, run straight, we'll let CeeDee Lamb do all the route running, essentially. But now, like, over the last like back end of the season, Brandon Cooks you just saw get more involved into the offense. He was doing more. He was doing more than just
Yeah.
running straight and then
I mean, we
hoping.
saw it even in that Lions game. Like he had some pretty big
Yeah,
catches.
exactly. And so,
So
and then their defense literally, I think that's just this entire team, bro. It's big. It's a big play team. I think they struggle at being in the trenches, essentially being physical, grinding out
yeah,
wins, right? I feel like they
mhm.
heavily rely on game wrecking, game changing plays.
They
Only
rely on
relying on that. They rely on big plays.
yeah, they rely on like blowing teams out.
Yeah,
As we've seen in like the close games, the team falters.
yeah,
We saw it in the Lions game. The Lions drove down the field and should have won the game in a 2-point conversion.
yeah. And so
So,
this Cowboys team, like very talented on
and that's a
paper,
problem.
obviously. Stars all over the place, right? So with me, it's just with this team, I think they struggle with, especially when it comes to the playoffs. Like they're not going to just cruise their way through the playoffs. They're going to at some point run into a team that's going to make them work for it. And we saw how that went against the Niners. Granted, it was in like week 5, right? So they're a
Yeah,
completely different point of the season, completely different team. But we've seen this team struggle against physical teams, right? Teams willing to grind it out. So I just think if they don't get the big play, I feel like it might not be great for them. So that's why I got them at 4. I just need to see it, believe it with them. They're like the Bills to me in the playoffs. I just need to see
I
it to
agree.
believe it. At 3, I got the Chiefs. Listen, this Chiefs team, down year by their measure, by their standard. Let's keep that in mind. By their standards.
At their standards,
Yeah, their
which
standards
are
like dynasty
dynasty
yeah,
level
dynasty
standards.
standards. So, but whenever Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce in the playoffs, out of sheer respect to what they've done and what they can do, I cannot put them lower than 3. I cannot.
Agreed.
They have the best quarterback in the league. They
Definitely
have
understand.
statistically they don't, but I think we all recognize that Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league.
Yeah.
And I mean, are we really going to be mad at people calling Andy Reid the best coach in the league? Probably not. Maybe. I mean, you can argue it this year, but
As far as resume, for sure, I don't
like
know.
don't get me
But
wrong, there's a lot of head coaches, but Andy Reid, he's
he's
got
the
the
top 5
resume.
coach in the
Yeah,
league.
yeah.
Like,
He's got the resume for it, right? So anytime those
yeah,
3 guys are in the postseason, they are a threat. They are a
yeah.
threat, and by any means, they're a favorite, right? I will never bet against. It's like the Brady effect, right? You see Brady in the
Yeah.
playoffs, you're not going to take that lightly, right? So when I see Patrick Mahomes along with Andy Reid and Travis Kelce in the playoffs, I'm not gonna throw any slight towards them. They're dangerous. And Patrick Mahomes, by the way, first in every playoff stat that matters. So he's like the best quarterback of all time in the postseason. So I can't even. You just gotta watch out for them. I can't put them lower than 3. Like anytime Mahomes is in the playoffs, you just gotta put him in that top echelon of teams. At 2, I got the Niners. It hurts me to put them at 2 because before that Christmas game, I had them at 1. I didn't think it was close.
I think everyone did.
But after that Christmas game, listen, I love everything about my team. I think my defense isn't. I think my defense tends to give up more this year, but they have a very bend don't break mentality, right? And still top defense. My defense is disgusting. Has been for the last 4 years. So CMC best running back in the league. Um, I think should win OPOY this year. Brock
Yep.
Purdy, I think he's the guy. I'm perfectly fine with him. I think the questions of him being able to come back from behind is fair because he's been through it 3 times this year and we haven't won any of them, so that's fair. But nonetheless, I've seen him make throws to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what, this kid can sling the rock, right? So,
Yeah.
and when he snaps the ball, he looks so calm. When I see my quarterback not frantic like Jimmy G, when I see him not panicking, as
Oh,
someone who's
Jimmy.
watching, who's invested emotionally and physically into this game, I'm like, you know what, he's got us. So I like Brock Purdy. I'm higher on him than most people. George Kittle, like I said, all these stars. So like, I think just because of the Week 18 or the Christmas game, by default they have to be 2. You can't put them over the Ravens. Like Week 7, that Christmas game was really the Week 18 game for those teams, right? Locked up MVP,
Yeah.
and it locked up who the best team in the league was heading into the postseason, right? So, and then heading into it, number one, like you said, Ravens, MVP, Lamar Jackson,
Hard to
locked it up,
argue. Yeah.
yeah. And then best team in the league, Ravens. Like the Niners and the Ravens, that Christmas game decided literally the best in the league at, and the MVP. Just it all decided it on that Christmas game, and in the fashion they did it in San Fran. Like no doubt they're the best. They deserve to be at the top of the power rankings heading into the playoffs. Like it's just no
Yeah.
doubt. Okay, so with that said, heading into the
Woo.
playoffs, let's
What comes with the playoffs?
the most pressure. Yeah.
Pressure.
So I mean, I'll let you go off with who you think, and then I'll just tell you
We
if
can
I.
switch off.
Yeah, we'll just switch off. So, I mean, you can go
If we
first.
have any that are the same, we can just both
Yeah,
go at it.
exactly.
Well, first, I think he's probably under the most pressure due to his history in the playoffs and just how good of a season he's had. Lamar Jackson
Yeah, I agree. That's who I have.
hasn't won a playoff game in his career, and he's been a
He's
top
won
five
one.
quarterback for he's won one.
Yeah, he's just won one. Yeah. Yeah, he's 1-3.
Oh, so he's won one.
Yeah, but still not good. With the caliber of him, 1-3 is not good.
So like you have Lamar Jackson, he's had an MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
Now twice, obviously he had the past one. You expect him to have more than one playoff win when he's been a top 5 QB
For at
since
least the
his
last three.
sophomore
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's there. And if you look at this team, right, compared to his other MVP year, you could argue his other MVP year that the Ravens weren't the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And it was
I agree.
supposed to be like the Lamar Jackson show. Because that Ravens team back then had the great defense still, but their offense outside of Lamar Jackson was very, very below average, besides Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Like their number one receiver that year was Willie Snead. Now they have Zay Flowers.
Yeah. Who's great.
Zay Flowers is really good.
Yeah.
They're obviously without Mark Andrews now, but it's besides the point, right? Because you could argue that Zay Flowers, being a number one receiver with as much explosiveness as he has, is almost more impactful than Mark Andrews, even though Mark Andrews is the top 3 tight end.
Yeah.
It's arguable, obviously, but besides the point. And yeah, they're far and away the best team in the AFC, judged off like their regular season and all these things. So I think if they go into the playoffs, and they obviously have the bye, so they're going to play either like the Browns or I think they would play the Browns or the Texans, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. If they lose to the Browns or the Texans, either team, extreme disappointment. And you kind of just sit there like, since they're so good in the regular season, you can't do anything to the team besides hopefully pick up more players. But their roster's already so stacked that like if this team can't win now, at least one playoff game, at least get to a championship game, like what else do you
Yeah,
do?
it's bad.
Right? Besides give him more receivers.
Yeah, I
which has
mean,
always been the thing with the Ravens.
yeah, listen, like at one, yeah, I got Lamar Jackson too. Like, listen, he's top 5 quarterback. He's about to be named an MVP for the
The
second
MVP.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the seasons he's had, dynamic, exciting, electric, however way you want to describe it. He's been winning in the regular season. He's had great regular season success since he's honestly came in. Like when he came in his rookie year, they finished the season 8-0. But
Yeah, made the playoff.
the Achilles heel for Lamar Jackson has been the postseason. He's 1-3. He has 900 yards across 4 games. He has 3 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 5 picks. And his QBR is 68.3. It's a significant drop off. And then you talk about, okay, during that time he wasn't a great passer, not a great quarterback yet. He hasn't thrown the ball. He wasn't even that dynamic either. Like the run game, he only has 367 rushing yards in 4 games.
He's evolved as a passer.
And he only has 1 rushing touchdown in the postseason.
Yeah.
And then he has 5 and then turnovers. This year, Lamar has turned the ball over kind of a ridiculous amount, right?
He's turned the ball over a lot.
And in the postseason alone, he has 10 in 4 games. In 4 games, he has 10 turnovers. He has 5 picks and 5 fumbles. So, listen, we both love Jack, right? We both think he
Yeah.
is a S tier quarterback, top 5 without a doubt. But at some point, we cannot avoid the uncomfortable conversation of, okay, but will he ever win anything,
Hmm.
right? So I just think he cannot lose. Honestly, with this team, with him, they have to make it to the AFC Championship at least. They
Minimum.
can't. They
Yeah.
can't lose in the first. They can't lose in their first game, and they cannot lose in the second round. They have to
Agreed.
win their first 2 games. Like I think anything less than an AFC Championship this year is a slight to Jack's MVP season, and yeah, I don't think so. He has to get past the
They
first two
have
games.
to get at least one win.
Yeah, I think they have to get both two before the AFC
Well, if they get
Championship.
two, they'll be in the Super Bowl.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, they
They
have
have
to
a
get one.
bye.
Yeah, they have a bye. They have to get to the AFC Championship no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, two. Go ahead.
Hmm?
Two. Next.
Oh. Well, I have Josh Allen
Okay.
because I don't think the pressure is on Josh Allen the same way it's on someone like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But if you look at this Bills team, this is probably the last chance for this team to make it to a Super Bowl until it has fallen apart to the point where it can't win one.
Like the window's
So
closing, essentially.
the window is like essentially closed. Like
Yeah.
this is the last like whoosh, they're about to flip the locks, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, like the team is aging, the contracts are getting expensive, they're losing their rookie contracts.
I even think Sean McDermott, that coach,
Sean McDermott
could be on the hot
is
seat
under,
if they
yeah,
don't win this year.
yeah,
Especially if they
he could
lose
be out
that
the
first round.
door. Like Stephon Diggs could be out the
Yeah.
door. Gabe Davis could also be out the door. Some other defensive players could be gone. Like
And then all of a sudden
this
you got
is
Josh Allen.
probably the last chance they have to make a and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
So for Josh Allen, he can't just go out there like he did in that Dolphins game and throw these dumb interceptions.
Yeah.
Because they might be playing arguably the worst team in the playoffs in the Steelers, but you still can't just give the team free possessions. So, in my opinion, for this first game of or the playoffs at least, they not only need to win, they need to win like pretty comfortably and look solid. Obviously, the weather conditions are a question. We don't. It's not going to be a good football game as
Yeah.
far as like actual football played, but they need to show that you know they can do something in these playoffs after potentially beating the Steelers.
No, I agree. Dude, listen, Josh Allen at some point, with the conversation he's in, which is alongside Patrick Mahomes, who has had unlimited amount of playoff success, you got to win something at some point. Like at some point, the people just can't. We can't keep making excuses. Oh well, he lost the coin toss. Well, get the fuck
Yeah,
over it. What about the other playoff games? Like, dude, you got to win something. You can't just be called. You can't keep being called a top 3 QB without winning anything in the league. I'm sorry, you got to do something. You
yeah.
just have to. It comes with the job. All right, you said Josh Allen. I mean, I have Josh Allen on there, but I'll just go different. Dak Prescott. Um, listen, he's had an MVP year, probably his best year. At the end of the day, he wears the star in his helmet, right? He's playing for the Cowboys. A lot of
Agreed.
pressure that coincides with just playing for them. But again, another quarterback who struggles to win in the postseason. Um, he's 2-4 in the postseason. That's not good.
Yep.
And then in those games, he's played okay. He's played all right, but not a franchise QB level, right?
Yeah.
He's like if you look at the games he's played, he averages 260 yards per game. With like that's okay, that's good, but he's just a non-factor in these games. Like don't get me wrong, I think a lot of Cowboys games in the postseason come down to coaching, right? Discipline.
You could
But
argue, yeah.
like I said, and then at the same time, San Francisco's not going anywhere. Especially they have a quarterback that they like now. This team's not going anywhere, and they have not been able to beat the Niners in the postseason for the last 2 years. This year, they played them once, got blown out by 30. Like At some point, they got to get over the hump. Dak Prescott has to get over the hump. And I'm saying right now, they cannot lose to the Packers. This is a must-win game. I think a lot of things are going to happen in Dallas if they lose first round against the Packers. I think Mike McCarthy's going to get fired. Dak Prescott's going to have the same Dak Prescott conversation around him in the offseason about maybe he's not the guy. He's not the guy.
Mhm.
He just doesn't make enough plays, like stuff like that. But like with all the three guys we've said, it's all quarterbacks that, we consider good but just lack the playoff resume. Like they haven't been good. They just haven't been good in the regular season. They change. Like what makes great quarterbacks is that their play elevates in the playoffs, and they just don't. Dak Prescott, 2-4, gets worse. Lamar, cliff jumping off of type of downfall, like jump off a cliff
Yeah,
type of like
his
difference.
play definitely changes a
And then
lot
Josh
from.
Allen, I mean, he has 4 interceptions and 8 fumbles in 8 games in the postseason. That's boneheaded mistakes that your quarterback cannot make. So yeah, I mean, I just think all these players, they just got to show up. Really, that's what it comes down to. They got to perform. They got to
Yeah,
win, right? Like I know it's easier said than done, but we can't keep considering these guys at the top tier, like with Mahomes, essentially, because that's who
yeah,
these guys are compared with. And
yep. They're in that top 5 conversation.
like Brock Purdy has been in the league for like 2 seconds, and he already has as many wins as Lamar Jackson's in the postseason. He has more wins, actually, my fault, as a starter. And I don't think Brock Purdy's nearly as good as Lamar Jackson, but like
Yeah,
at some point, Dak Prescott has as many wins as Brock Purdy. So I just think they have to win at this point. But not just players, like I think there's coaches heading to the playoffs that got a lot of pressure on them. And honestly, I'll start this one off. I think Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan has
same.
a lot of pressure going into the playoffs. Listen, like outside of playoffs, he is 0-38 when trailing by more than 4 points in the fourth quarter. That is fucking horrendous.
Yeah,
Brother, that means if his script doesn't go to plan, he's like at the mercy of the players around him. Granted, he's had Jimmy G, who is probably one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen try to make a play when the script
we've
doesn't go
seen
to
it
plan.
in both of his Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
but the Super Bowl on the Falcons when he was the OC, 28-3, and you can see the questionable play calling throughout that, like the comeback. You can see is like
He ran it the whole
what the
time
fuck are you
until it
doing?
was almost too late,
Yeah, and then
or was too late.
and then the 2019 Super Bowl on the Niners breaks my heart. We had a 10-point lead. Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes was not playing good. Our offense was in control, but what does he do? Deebo Samuel got, I think, 1 target in the second half. Who was our best player by far in that playoff run. So I think Kyle Shanahan, he he has to win a Super Bowl at some point. We can't just keep
yeah,
calling him one of the best coaches in the league, and it pains me because he really is. But he has 2 choke Super Bowls, who people directly hold him responsible. He's lost an NFC championship. Like he can't just keep being good enough, right? He has to be the best. He has to win one, right? So I think Kyle Shanahan, out of maybe Nick Sirianni, who we'll get into next, uh,
yeah.
has
We
the
will.
most pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have him on here as well because I don't think he'll lose his job,
No, definitely. Yeah, we
but it's
just
like, how
extended
many
him for five
times is this
years.
gonna happen? You know?
Exactly. Before we say, okay, like what the fuck?
Yeah. And just to add on to the Cowboys thing, I don't think it's a Dak Prescott thing. I think it is the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
They have not made it to an NFC Championship game in 28 years.
Yeah, that's bad. But you know
There
what
is an
comes with the quarterback role.
organizational problem.
Yeah, but when you're the quarterback, you are the franchise
Yeah, obviously the
essentially.
QB
Yeah.
has the most
He
pressure,
shoulders the
but there's
blame.
pressure on that org because if they don't, if heaven forbid they don't win against the Packers, right? I don't know what's gone, but there's gonna be a lot gone
Yeah,
because
yeah, no, no. Yeah.
they're
Well,
gonna
I
blow it
know
up.
what's going to be gone. The first thing at the top of the list is going to be Mike McCarthy. He is
Mike
gone.
McCarthy already might be gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
because that dude's a buns coach.
And Belichick is on the market now, so that could
Well, if you
re-
can
that
trade Mike McCarthy for Belichick on the
yeah.
Cowboys, what the
You pack the
hell?
bags for him and say thank you very much and peace out,
You
brother.
kick his ass out the dough.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Bye bye. Lure him away with a
Yeah,
donut, bro. Get him out.
exactly.
Don't need you no more. We got Bill.
And
We
then
got Bill because we got bills to pay.
Nick
Okay?
Sirianni, I think you're gonna enjoy this one.
This boy, if he
God,
don't win a playoff game, he going to Pee Wee.
bro. Honestly, I think even if they beat the Bucks, I think if they lose in the next round, he's gone. I fucking okay. Listen, can I say
There's a
this?
chance if they win that he stays, but I think that locker room is toast.
Nah, bro.
And I think he is a terrible.
I need to say that I fucking
Terrible.
hate Nick Sirianni, bro. I've
And he's
never seen a
obnoxious.
head coach make so much noise. He makes more noise than his players, bro. That
He don't do
bothers me.
nothing.
Yeah, bro. Like, dude. And then you're responsible for the worst drop off I've ever seen from a top tier team at that point. Dude, and then you know that clip of him when the camera's following him and he starts nodding his head at the camera? Do you remember that clip? And he
Is it
makes a
the
face.
Chiefs?
I don't know who it was against. The Chiefs one
I
is
think I
where
know what you're talking about.
or when like he's in the tunnel and he's like, I don't hear you guys now. When he's talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
Chiefs fans, I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. You're the head coach. Like,
Yeah.
why are you being loud? And then on top of that, just the play calling's been bad. And then they fired their defensive coordinator.
Their OC is terrible too.
Yeah, their OC's not good. And then bro, like I said, at the end of the day, if you can't get your players to buy into your own scheme, then you're not
Over.
doing your job. It's over.
You
It's
lose the
just not
locker
gonna
room,
work.
it's
Yeah,
over.
it's over. It's not gonna work. And what has it shown? Heading into week 18, your players had to have a players only meeting. That is fucking bad. This meeting should have been held like 16 weeks ago, brother. Like, this isn't good. Like, I think if they don't win, I think
They do it comfortably.
even if they beat the Bucks and they lose in the next round, let's say they lose in the next round, I still think they think about firing him. Especially with now who's on the market.
The locker room is gone then.
Mike Vrabel's on the market. People love playing for him.
Yeah, if you can get Mike Vrabel.
Bill Belichick is on the market. What's the Achilles heel of the Eagles
I
right
think
now?
Vrabel would fit this team better.
No, definitely, but I'm just going off the list of like
Yeah, I know.
on the market. What's Belichick mastermind? What's the Achilles heel for the Eagles? Their secondary is sus as fuck and horrible, right? So I just think this motherfucker's on the
How much is
hottest.
on defensive play calling though, because they have names. Right? Like Darius Slay is like big name. Bradbury, big name.
I mean, at
I don't know.
that point, you got to
To be
point
fair,
at
their whole defense has big names.
you
but
got
their
to point
defense
at
has
the
been
head
very
coach because
consistent.
they fired their defensive coordinator, and their
Yeah, and their
secondary
defensive
still.
coordinator is Matt Patricia now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
At some point, Nick Sirianni has to do something. It has to be looked at him. You did what you thought was
That's where it
right.
starts, right?
You
I
did
think
what
they'll get rid of the whole coaching staff.
you did what everybody wanted when it came to that defense looking that bad. You fired the defensive coordinator. Okay, great. Now what? You fire another one? Like, at some point, it's the head. You got to look to the head coach, right? So I just think this motherfucker's on the hottest seats of hottest seats. And I think even if he wins round one and loses in the next, barring a Super Bowl, right? Win or lose, barring a Super Bowl, that motherfucker, I think, is out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the players like him.
Yeah, it might be too far
Yeah.
gone, even
Yeah,
regardless of what
exactly.
happens, you know?
A.J. Brown hurt his knee. Like, bro, your franchise quarterback, his finger's sideways right now. Like, brother, it's not
Yeah.
looking good for him.
It hurts their chances of even potentially keeping him his job. So.
Okay, and with that,
yeah,
we hop
that's the big
into
pressures.
our favorite segment, which is Fraud Watch, right? And I know you. I
we
know.
were talking
Yeah,
about them.
exactly. I know you're.
Let's go ahead
I know,
and start.
Yeah, you start off. I know you're excited
Fly,
about this.
Eagles, fly.
This
On the
garbage ass
road
team.
to
Yeah,
misery.
dude, it's bad.
Your team fell off a cliff. They're 1-5 in their last 6.
Yeah,
They suck.
they fucking suck.
They look terrible. Their one win
Yeah.
was them scraping by in the second half against the Giants. They're terrible.
They're horrible, bro.
They look bad. I've been saying it since last year. These boys is fraudulent. That was made the Super Bowl last year, so I looked like a clown. But Look at this year. Everyone's like, Jalen Hurts is top 5. No, he's not a top 5 QB in the league.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts should be an MVP.
All
No.
right. Honestly, you have been on that train. I will give you props because I said he's better than because you just would lay into him. I said, bro, he's better than you think, and to a certain point, I was right. But yeah, top 5 ain't it, man.
This year, did he look good at the beginning of the year? Yeah, right. They were like 10-1 or something, 11-1. They were looking great.
Tush push cheese, bro.
But here's the thing.
Tush push cheese.
He's a decent thrower of the football.
Yeah.
Decent.
He's not even that dynamic of a player, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, he's
And
dynamic.
He's
Don't get me wrong.
lost his mobility.
Like,
He
I
doesn't
think,
even look that fast when he runs now.
like, when people bring up
keeping
his
plays alive.
rushing touchdown, I'm like, bro,
Not even that
how many
good.
of those are juiced by tush push?
Bro, like all
lot
of them are
A lot of them.
push this
Yeah.
year. He's not like the
He's not-
Jalen Hurts we kind of thought he was going to be coming in the league. He's like, I don't even know how to describe.
Remember
how he
Russell
plays.
Wilson on the Legion of Boom team? I look at
That's
Jalen Hurts.
kind of how he plays.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he doesn't throw the ball as good as Russell
Exactly.
Wilson.
Yeah.
He doesn't keep plays alive like Russell Wilson.
I think Jalen Hurts' mobility is a lot comparable to Russell Wilson on that Legion of Boom team. He's not like the shiftiest. He's not L-Jack.
Plays alive like him though. It's weird.
Oh no, yeah, he doesn't throw the ball like him.
No, like, I'm talking like keeping plays alive, like
Oh, yeah.
mobility in the pocket.
Yeah.
Hurts is very stiff in the pocket.
Yeah.
At least when I watch him play, I don't really watch.
It's
the
like
Eagles play
he
very
wants
often.
to make sure that people look at him as a pocket passer. At least that's what it looks like.
Which is stupid.
But yeah. But
The team just
I think the biggest frauds heading into the postseason, I agree, are the Eagles. But like out of sheer because I
secondary
knew
looks bad.
I
Their
knew
offense is
I knew you would go with them. Listen, just a quick touch on them, and I'll go to the team I think we should also look at. This team has fell from grace and beyond that, brother. This team has hit the fan. They were 10-1 through 11 weeks, and they finished 1-5.
Yeah.
Like that's not it. That's just not it, right? So they've switched different coordinators, team, and like I said, they were saying they will figure it out, bro. You got to figure it out. It's too late to try and figure it out.
The thing is, you were 10-1. It should have been figured out.
Yeah, it should have been figured out.
10-1 and something isn't figured out.
And then the loss to the Giants is just like the cherry on top to the shit show that they had, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
especially because you look at it,
and that was to win the division.
The second half, they just pulled everyone out.
That was to win the division. They said, okay.
Yeah.
So they went from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. Shout out Niners. We started that train. But anyway. Okay, but I knew you were going to pick the Eagles, so I went with a different team. I went with the Dolphins. They can't beat a good team, bro. They can't beat a good team.
Win against a good team was what, the Cowboys?
Yeah. They're 1-5 against winning teams. It's not good. Tua still feels like a guy that when shit's going good, he's going good. But I feel like
definitely momentum-based player.
Yeah. I don't feel like he has the impact on a team, or he doesn't have an impact against good teams, right? I think against good teams, he's very vanilla. I think his comp, like people compare him to Brock Purdy, right? In terms of like his position, his role on the offense. But Brock Purdy's, first of all, he's more athletic, way more athletic than Tua. He has a stronger arm, I think, than Tua. He's more athletic. He can move around more.
Stronger arm, I agree.
Brock Purdy's
athleticism, I don't know.
Dude, I think he's way more athletic. Like Brock Purdy can actually scramble. Brock Purdy can scramble and take off.
Yeah, I mean Tua probably can too, but he just doesn't.
I don't even think he's that mobile, to be honest. I think he's cool. Like he can, yeah, he's like got decent speed to where like he could, but and the thing with Brock Purdy, and the greatest difference between the two is Brock Purdy's beaten good teams.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy exposed a Jacksonville team who everyone at the time was the second seed in the AFC. Brock Purdy exposed the Eagles, who were the best team in the league at that point. And Brock Purdy dismantled the Cowboys, who are great still. His only bad loss, like against good teams, is the Ravens on Christmas. And
yeah,
if a couple batted balls go our way instead of theirs, that game could have been different. But anyway, that's besides the point. This team can't be good teams, and that's the only teams left in the playoffs right now, outside of like two teams.
Playoffs, dude. That's all we got.
That's all we got left. Good teams, and so I feel like they're gonna get exposed quick. And Little do you know, or would you look at it? They got the
Wild
Chiefs.
card,
They got Chiefs round
Tyreek
one.
Hill homecoming.
Yeah, so
And guess what?
we're
It's
about to
gonna be
find out.
0 degrees.
Yeah, it's like
This ain't Miami.
we're about to find out if they're really about it or not. But I don't think they are. I think 1-5 against winning teams is like horrible. So and Tua, that the way they ended the year, that pick to win the game
Yeah,
to Chase Claypool was
they
bad.
should have won the division,
Yeah. And
but they did.
so um yeah, and to lose the division, by the way. The Bills were 6-6, dude. People were saying they weren't even going to make the playoffs, right? So to lose the division too, bro, like this team just has fraud written all over it. If the Eagles didn't exist, the Dolphins I think would be my number one spot for biggest fraud
I
watch,
agree.
but yeah. Um all right. What's
All
next?
right. We could just quick fire off who we think's gonna win the award honors.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll just go through and then if you agree, you just MVP, I
Yeah, I'll
mean,
just say agree.
Jack,
Agree.
pretty evident.
Obviously. TJ's
Unfortunate
one.
though, because I feel like it's by default,
Yeah.
just because he's a
I mean,
quarterback.
I say we should have some honorable mentions. Honorable mentions.
Oh wait, yeah,
CMC
yeah, honorable
and Dak.
mentions.
Those
Yeah,
are my honorable mentions.
DPOY, TJ Watt. I have TJ Watt. I don't care if he got injured in week
I
18.
have Miles Garrett.
That's my honorable mention was Miles Garrett.
Yeah, my honorable mentions. I have TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen's a good sleeper. That's a
He
good
was the
honorable
shining
mention.
star of the Panthers this year.
And then
Not the Panthers,
OPOY,
sorry, the Jags.
CMC, and then honorable mention Tyreek. I just think CMC's been more
Yeah,
consistent, and
I
he
have
didn't get hurt.
CMC.
If Tyreek
And I
didn't get
also have
hurt,
CD and honorable mention.
oh, CD's a good shout. Good shout. Coach of the year, dude. Honestly, I said D'Amico Ryans. They won their
These are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I got D'Amico Ryans as coach of the year. Honorable mention Kyle
My
Shanahan. I think it's vile that he hasn't won one, but it's fine.
honorable mentions are D'Amico Ryans and Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur's a good one.
And then my coach of the year is Kevin Stefanski.
Yep.
Stefanski.
I think that's a great shout. Kept that ship afloat, dog.
He won what? 11 games with some of the worst quarterback play through the first 8 weeks of the season
Yeah.
in the league.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson's
John
quarterback.
Watson looked terrible
he
outside
was
of a half.
like the
And
worst
then I
quarterback
don't
in the
even
league.
remember the one dude's name.
Yeah.
No offense to him.
Yeah.
I just don't remember who he was. He wasn't very good. Obviously, Joe Flacco came
Yeah.
in, did his thing.
And then offensive rookie of the year, CJ Stroud, and I didn't put an honorable mention because I don't think it's close.
I put someone else. I put Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua, damn. All right.
I understand like the impact of CJ Stroud is so hard to argue, but Puka had the greatest rookie wide receiver season ever by stat standards, right?
I agree with you, and this is no knock against him. He can't control this, but he's also in an offense where he plays for Sean McVay, who got Cooper Kupp a triple crown.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford didn't do anything on the Lions besides throw for a lot of yards. Comes to the Rams, plays with McVay, opens up his system, won a Super Bowl. Kyron Williams, their run scheme. Kyron Williams, out of nowhere, by the way, like comes in, is fantastic. Top 5 running back this year. Tutu Atwell for the time he was in, along with
he was good when he was actually playing.
McVay, I just think C.J. Stroud, he came in and had to figure things out for himself, rather as Puka Nacua came in and Sean McVay put him in the best situations to win. Whereas I feel like C.J. Stroud, granted they want to do the same thing for him, but with him it's more playground, right? It's more like, fuck, I got to make things happen or else the ship doesn't go, right? The car doesn't start if I don't fucking go. I just think
it's hard to argue
the difficult.
records.
Oh no, it definitely is.
And Stroud missed those games. That one. Did he miss 1 or 2 games?
I think he missed one, but
I'm not 100% sure.
he put the team on his back, right?
Puka Nacua. We'll say this: we have had a joint MVP before. I think it should be a joint offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, but I mean,
because,
I agree. But then there's
in my opinion, they both deserve it way too much. And I think the fact that one of them is not going to get it sucks.
yeah, I agree. Like, because what Puka Nacua did was historic, and then C.J. Stroud literally changed the Texans franchise in his first year. So, I mean, either way you want to spin it. Okay, I kind of misspoke. It is close. It is close. But I would give it to C.J. Stroud just because of the level of difficulty. Like he put the team on his fucking back and dragged them
They're
into the
both
playoffs.
insanely impressive.
Yeah. And then defensive rookie of the year, I got Will Anderson.
Same.
Yeah. And then honorable mention Jalen Carter on the Eagles.
I have
They
Jalen Carter and Devin
yeah.
Witherspoon as my honorable
Um
mentions.
the Eagles have not lost a step in terms of replacing Javon Hargraves, who's currently on the Niners right now.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, we got him for free. Sick. And then boom,
And
they
then they
draft.
get Jalen
Then they
Carter, one of
draft
the
Jalen
best D
Carter.
linemen in
Yeah.
the draft.
Then
They're
they
like
draft Jalen
fucking
Carter, and then it's
18. Like,
okay,
cool.
well, fuck. So
Devin Witherspoon, though, I think deserves credit.
yeah.
He's had a really, really good season on the Seahawks.
All right, brother. To close it out, listen, we got bangers tomorrow.
Time.
We got bangers tomorrow, right? So you gotta list the teams up, or we'll go through all the games Saturday and Sunday, yeah, and we'll just predict it all. Okay,
all of them.
so Browns Texans. Listen, I got the Texans above the Browns because I just like. Listen, they have the better quarterback, and I think in the end, better quarterback wins most of the time. But I just think the Browns are gonna win round one, 17-14. I think their defense is disgusting. And I think if Joe Flacco just does just what he's been doing, right? He doesn't even have to. Just don't, play like absolute abysmal shit. And I think they could beat this team because at the end of the day, young quarterback, young team, inconsistent. And Joe Flacco's been there, right? Joe Flacco's been there. Myles Garrett has been there. Well, he hasn't been there, but yes, they have actually. Yeah, they have. When Baker
They've
Mayfield
won a
was,
playoff game.
yeah. So I just think Browns are going to beat the Texans off sheer experience.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Browns winning 28-20. I think that the Texans will make it interesting, obviously, as CJ Stroud is very good. Their defense has been solid.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think experience just kind of wins this game for the Browns.
All right. Dolphins Chiefs. Listen, I think the Dolphins are frauds, and I think the Chiefs it's a new season, right? Playoffs is an entire everyone's at 0-0 now, right? So I think anytime the Chiefs are in the playoffs, I think they're an immediate threat. I think they're a favorite. So I got the Chiefs over the Dolphins 30-17. I think just the injuries the Dolphins have coming into on the defensive side of the ball. Like Jalen Ramsey's changed this defense as he should. He's a great corner, but I just think Patrick Mahomes is just gonna find a way to just dismantle this team, and I don't believe in Tua, especially against that Chiefs defense. They're gross.
Yeah. I think this game is just pure defensive difference. Honestly, I think the Dolphins are missing way too much on defense,
Yes.
and I think the Chiefs will honestly just win on sheer defensive
Yeah, I think Tua's gonna make mistakes,
prowess.
and it's just gonna be bad.
Yeah. I don't think the Chiefs' offense is going to be high flying, especially with the weather
Oh no,
conditions
definitely
being
not.
kind of iffy. I think it's going to be like a 20-14 Chiefs angle, like kind of like an outlast game almost. Like they're just kind of outlasting them through their defense and their offense being
I don't
just
think it'll
good
be high
enough.
flying, but I think in terms of the ways Andy Reid could draw shit up, I think Travis Kelsey, little in route touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like they could. I just think with the injuries they've had, I think scoring won't be a problem for this Chiefs team. 30 might be too high, but I mean,
I don't know about
honestly, when I
30.
made
30 seems
yeah
like a
no
lot.
when I made this prediction, it was before the Ice Age was coming to
0
fucking
degrees.
yeah before the Ice Age hit. So I mean,
But I do think the Chiefs will win.
yeah, I think the Chiefs will win.
And
And
I think it potentially could spark the rest of their playoff run.
yeah, oh definitely, I think so too. And then the next game, I think this is the worst game in the playoffs. I think Bills by fucking 30,000. I think the Bills beat the Steelers 28-7. I don't think this is gonna be close. I think it's gonna be quick.
Score makes sense, but I saw the Bills were asking people to just show up and shovel snow for
Yeah.
$20 an hour. I'm about to show up, by the way. That's $20, okay? And they're providing food, complimentary.
Compliment. You're an idiot. Holy
Give
shit,
me a
moron.
glizzy while I'm shoveling snow.
You're a fucking idiot.
Know what I'm saying?
No,
$20,
you're an
$20,
idiot.
Mr.
Shut up.
Donovan.
Nah,
But
shut that shit up. That's just so stupid. You're a fucking idiot.
I think it's probably gonna be like, dude, this might be the most boring game.
It's gonna be. It's going to be,
Might be
bro.
nap time during this game, bro. It might be like 17-7.
I'm gonna have Mason Rudolph fucking throwing balls to fucking George Pickens
Yeah,
for.
I'm gonna go Bills 17-7.
Yeah, I don't
Sounds
think.
good.
Yeah, like I said, I made this. Okay, listen, weather kind of fucked up my score predictions because I think it's gonna be a factor, but because I made this shit like a day ago. So
Yeah, if the weather's as
So
bad
20
as it's saying, it's gonna be
28. Listen, the 7 that I'm spotting the Steelers, I think that's realistic. But the 28, yeah, 17 is more realistic. Maybe 20. But like I said,
I
I
might
think
drop it to 14. How the hell are they gonna kick field goals in
this
that bit, bro?
is this is the worst playoff game of the weekend. This is gonna not even be close. Okay, Cowboys Packers. Here we go. Now we're getting into some dome action.
The
You know what I'm saying?
NFC.
So, listen, I got Cowboys. Listen, I'm only saying this 28-14 Cowboys because they cannot lose. They cannot afford to lose this game. You have to win this game. I'm sorry. You do. You just have to.
Yeah, I have similar. I have 24-10.
You can't.
There's too much on the line
Yeah,
for the
you
Cowboys.
can't
It's in Jerry
lose.
World. Like,
You cannot lose in Jerry World.
might as well be a rookie
Yeah,
quarterback. Like,
exactly. No, you can't lose to Jordan Love. With how inconsistent this Packers team is, how young they are, you can't lose. Okay, here we go. I think this might be the best game of the.
This or the Chiefs game are like
Yeah, this might be,
deepest.
and just to watch, I think this is gonna be the best game to watch because
Yeah, I think these are like
that
the
Chiefs
most
game,
equal.
weather's gonna heavily
Right.
impact that Chiefs game, and it's gonna be kind of whack. But
And you know what's crazy? Guess where this game's played?
in a dome,
In a dome.
yeah. Same thing with
Wow.
the Packers Cowboys. Thank God.
Well, that's in Texas.
Yeah.
Fuck cares.
Yeah, they could have. They could pull up the ceiling and they could play football.
Yeah.
Rams Lions. I got Rams. I think this is gonna be fucking kind of a offensive insane game. 35-24. I got the Rams.
I
think-
agree. I think this is gonna be high flying.
Yeah.
I also have the Rams.
Stafford
I
homecoming.
think it's going to be a nice little like 33-28.
Yeah. Oh, so we're
Maybe
close.
even 33-21. I think this
Yeah.
is going to be a game.
I think it just depends on what Jared Goff we're gonna get. Like if he's cooking, this game could be actually electric. I think this could be a high scoring ass game.
I think that this game is going to be extremely offensive driven for most of the game, but one of the two defenses is going to make a play.
Yeah.
At
And
one
then
point in the game,
that'll kind of decide
it'll
the
be
game.
the turning point of the game.
That's what I'm saying. If we get that Jared Goff, that Rams are gonna be quick to make the play. I'm sorry.
I mean, both QBs, right, have had.
But Stafford's
interception
been there,
Stafford has
right?
been elite, right?
Stafford's been there. I mean, Jared Goff has
Both
been
have
to a
been there.
bowl, yeah, but
Right?
Stafford. I mean, you got to think
You
about
could
the mental
argue
block.
Jared Goff's is fraudulent and robbed my boy Drew Brees of a chance, but
Yeah, and
I
at the
don't
end of
make
the
up
day,
no pass interference rules.
at the end of the day, like this could help Goff. I don't think it is. He's playing the team and the quarterback that replaced him, right? So I got 35-24
big.
Rams. I
Very
think we're
big,
I think we're
very
gonna
big
get a
game.
Stafford master fucking class. I think he's gonna go
I think Matt
crazy.
Stafford's gonna have a great game.
Yeah, and then my favorite game that I'm gonna be watching this weekend: Eagles Bucks. Baker fucking Zinfield by 30, bro. Get fucked. Listen, I think the Eagles have to win. I think they should win. However way you want to put how they should win this game, it has to happen. I don't think they're going to. I think so much shit has happened to the point where it's beyond repair. I think Bucks are going to win this game 21-17.
I have no clue with this game. I don't want either of these teams to win. I'm gonna be really honest. I hate watching both of these teams play.
I like watching the Bucks play, to be honest. I like
You watched
watching.
them play last week. They scored 9 points.
Okay, but listen. Okay, come on,
Taking
bro.
a nap.
You can't let one game affect like how you use the team.
I mean, they obviously like outside of that 9-point game, they've looked solid. But
it's the NFC South at the end of the day. That division.
it's just like, bro.
Not great.
Honestly,
dude, I bet
I
you're
want
gonna
the
be
Bucks to win.
You're gonna be, yeah, definitely.
But I think the Eagles are gonna win.
Really?
But I don't think they're gonna win pretty. I don't think they're gonna win pretty at all. I think it's going to be a disgustingly ugly, nasty, like game. Honestly,
even if AJ Brown doesn't play and Jalen Hurts is playing with a broken
We
finger.
obviously don't know the injuries on the Eagles. They haven't announced anything,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's why I think it's going to be super ugly. It's because I don't know what Bucks we're going to get, right? Are we going to get the Bucks that comes out and scores 30, or are we going to get the Bucks that score 9? I don't know. What Eagles are going to show up? Who the fuck knows,
Bro, but Baker's pulling
right?
up with the Zins in the back pocket mid play, bro.
Bro,
He's throwing darts. He's locked in. What the fuck are we
and I'm
even
gonna
talking
I'm gonna
about?
pull up with my box of Cheez-Its and watch the game and hope that he wins, but I don't think he
No,
will.
but okay. In all seriousness, I agree. I think the Eagles should win. Like I think they should win. Um,
It's
but
one of those things, right? It's like what side of the coin, right? This happens every year where a team heats up at the right time. That's why the NFL playoffs are so exciting, is because it's best of one. Who is hot, right? We see it. We've seen it so many times where a team like what was it? The Bengals in 2021. Ain't no one think the Bengals were going to go to the Super Bowl in Joe Burrow's sophomore year and Jamar Chase's rookie year. They got hot at the right time, made it to the Super Bowl, made the Super Bowl competitive, right? The Eagles obviously don't look hot now, but what if randomly they just get hot and they have the roster that can win
see,
the Super Bowl?
I'd agree with that. But bro, they had so many opportunities to
But
get
they have
hot.
been terrible at this back end of the season, and usually the back like 1, 2 games of the season carries into the
No,
playoffs.
but
We've seen it.
dude, even look at their wins leading up to like that Niner game where they finally got fucking exposed, right?
Oh, they
They
won by 3
were
points in both
they
games.
weren't pretty. Like they like don't and people
They
were
beat the
guessing.
Bills by 3, and they beat the Chiefs by it was either 7-3.
Yeah, it was
So
like
they were
okay,
one
listen,
one
like this
possession games.
team knows how to win multiple different ways. Well, listen, they're 1-5 in their last 6, so it's like I I don't think they can figure it out. Like you're saying, if they just randomly flip a switch, I think that switch is fucking
Yeah,
destroyed. I think
there
that
might
shit's
not even be a
broken.
switch, right? Maybe there's no power.
No,
The thing
someone
is, though,
they
I think
yanked out
both
the fucking
teams
switch and spit on it, lit it on fire,
they
and
tripped the
then threw
breaker.
it. Yeah,
It's
bro,
over.
it's
The house
done.
has exploded.
I'm
It's
like,
gone.
dude, the dumbest thing to me, and like I will say it over and over and over again, bro. You cannot have a players meeting to discuss buying into the scheme in heading into week 18. That's
Yeah,
not,
you can't do that.
brother. That shit's
The
supposed to be
thing is,
done so much earlier.
I just don't trust the Bucks
Okay,
at
just say
all.
it. You don't trust Baker, bro. Just say it. I know you want to fucking
No,
say it, so just
it's
say
not
it.
even Baker sometimes.
Just say it.
The
You don't trust Baker
it's
Mayfield, bro.
always different things with the Bucks. No, no, no. I hate Baker May. Okay, I don't hate Baker Mayfield, but I dislike Baker Mayfield a lot. But with the Bucks, it's always something different that's not going right for them. Like for example, last week they won 9-0. Their defense is playing perfect. Their offense not moving. And then the week before that, they'll win 33-30. So their offense is moving, but their defense ain't doing nothing.
I think it's good that you could have both, though, right?
Yeah,
I
the
think
thing
you
is,
can
they
win
both
multiple
don't work at
ways.
the same time. You need them both to work at the same time in the
But
playoffs.
I think the
And you can say what you want.
likelihood,
The Eagles are terrible. I hate the Eagles. And I mean hate. Fuck this team. But the talent is there.
talent, well, might be there, might.
Yeah,
And if
injuries
and
is a
here's the
problem.
thing,
We
and
don't know
even
who's
if they
playing.
are there, they're not going to be 100%.
True. But even with okay, well, the issue is Jalen Hurts hurt a finger on his throwing hand,
Yeah,
and
like
we've
that.
heard
That
nothing.
motherfucker's finger
Oh,
was sideways, bro, and he already
yeah.
is like okay at throwing the ball, so he can go from okay to
I don't
below
know.
average. Dude,
I
I
have
just
no clue about this game. This is the biggest coin flip game in the playoffs, in
yeah,
my
yeah,
opinion.
definitely. And like
Because
Eagles should
both
win.
teams make no sense.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, outside of that Steelers Bills game, where I think it's just gonna be the fucking worst game of the fucking weekend, I think Wildcard Weekend's a banger. There's so many
Yeah,
CJ
there's a lot of
Stroud
good games,
versus Joe
except
Flacco's
for this one.
return. Yeah, and fucking Dolphins Chiefs, fucking Packers Cowboys,
Look,
Jerry
I'm going
World.
Bucks. I believe.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm
in
saying,
Florida
bro.
now.
Dude,
Dude, they're across the street.
bro, when the team's
Literally,
locker
they're
room,
actually like across the street.
bro, just the team's broken, and I can't believe
You
in a
know,
team that's
just because I
broken.
live in Florida now and Tampa Bay is right across the bridge. We'll go Bucks. I think this might be a high flyer though.
You're fucking stupid, bro. I can't with you. You go from You don't know which team you get to. This is gonna be a high flyer. First of all,
You're gonna be a high
you're
flyer.
saying Jalen Hurts with a broken finger is gonna have a high flyer.
DeAndre Swift gonna rush for 200.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're just saying things now.
Um,
All right. Listen.
This game's gonna be like 23 to like 17.
We're to the
Bucks.
point. You're saying things now. Listen. Hey, good hour 40-minute first sesh, dog. Shit was fun.
23-17 Bucks. Go Bucks.
All right.
Buck up.
Nice little
Buckaroo.
hour. Little bit hour over an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Good session.
that's episode 1, baby.
Yeah, episode 1. All right. We out of here.
I'm a little tired.
Run that shit.
Bye bye.